Hello everyone, greetings from Neurofeedback Center in Berlin. Greetings for Brainy Heart today. I have a very exciting guest, namely Laila Dalla Torre.
Nice to be here, thanks Evelyn.
You should be talking about your titles and what you've done in your life in a minute. I'd like to just report about this beautiful picture today as well. We cabled Laila. Now we're seeing live her emotions. So as she is, oh my god, now she's getting more and more emotional from left stimulation to right. As we know, our right hemisphere is responsible for emotions, and we can see a rough picture about, we don't see what networks are basically active, but what is it doing, what is this situation doing to her. We can have a rough idea about this. And even when she's talking about very critical and intellectual things, we are just going to find out if she's doing it by heart or if she's doing it on her mind. So maybe it's a good idea to do that. We thought, Laila, fasten your seatbelt. So should you, dear audience. So we go. 6 questions to Laila Dalla Torre. Laila, first of all, just short introduction. Who are you?
So my name is Laila Dalla Torre and I'm working for Bekaert in a dual role. On the one hand, I'm responsible for the global procurement COE, and on the other hand, I'm responsible for the project management in global procurement.
Wow. So 2 roles, dual roles, is that a problem?
I think it's enriching because also on the one hand in the COE we are setting up processes and making sure that things work the way they should be, and also improving the processes over time. And by doing so, we need projects that support this initiative. So I think it's complementary, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually more or less connected, the both positions, with each other. This is good news. Yeah. This is really good news. I certainly sent the questions in advance so that executives could prepare themselves intellectually to this a little emotional intellectual questions. So question number 1, from this real world. So what are the top 5 leadership failures according to your opinion?
In my experience, they are all connected, and especially by not caring about people. This for me is the biggest failure that you can do. Assuming, this is the second one, assuming that people are per se already lazy or stupid and they want to sabotage your day, and going with such an emotional connection to people, this is just doing great damage to the company and to the people. Another thing is that you do not share necessary information to your people, which is making them isolated, not knowing where the path is going, which is also quite horrible. And the other thing is that you're afraid of being replaceable, and therefore you don't develop your people because you think they're, like in German we say, they're sawing on your chair so that you can fall. This is one of the worst things ever. And by doing so, people, instead of creating systems that work, they pick individuals that they can rely on. And as soon as an individual leaves or you leave, then the whole system collapses. This is just not working.
Yeah, indeed. And you saw it happening in your career so far?
Yeah, very often, where people did not create sustainable systems.
Mm-hmm. What could we do? What could we do about this?
Well, I think we really need to upskill our people to trust in them, to believe and to match.
But what can I do? I mean, I'm a person who is like this, right? Who you suffer from probably as well. Mm-hmm. So then what can I do? What advice would you give me? So maybe I'm one of those, in the audience. What kind of advice, what can I do? Because you can't change one day to next. If you think, people who got black hair are idiots, in your heart, just let me say it this way, racial bias, age bias, etc. We talked about this last time. People follow us. And what do you do? What kind of advice can you give me?
Everything starts with self-awareness, right? So if people do not realize that they are that way, they cannot change. And then the progress is slowly, because if you have incorporated a belief, it takes a while to get rid of it, right? So But the first step is really acknowledging that there's a topic and that you are afraid, and also investigating a bit on yourself. Why are you afraid that somebody's taking your job? Don't you believe you can grow further? Why can't you grow further, right? So all these things, but it starts with ourselves. I think external inputs will rarely help.
Yeah, indeed. I totally agree. We should do another session only about these kind of things, our experiences on my LinkedIn live shows together. I'd really highly appreciate it. Especially talking about age and gender biases and racial biases with you. Oh my gosh. Stay tuned, people. So as we can see as well, I hope you're watching her brain activity in the background. You can zoom in yourselves. The next question is certainly, talking about the self-centered attitude. What could you advise to those people who suffer from these biases? What could be a perfect day for them, and what is a perfect day for you?
To be honest, it would be very similar, because I think a day should start, there are several books on this 5 a.m. club and so on, right, with self-awareness and time for ourselves. Because if we cannot take care of ourselves, how do we want to care and take care about others, right?
Voilà.
So it needs to start with time for ourselves, not like getting up, oh my god, I'm late, I need to rush, I need to shower, I need to here and there, and then the day is already ruined, right? So time for ourselves, working out, taking a break, taking a breakfast, whatever suits your lifestyle and needs.
Do you eat enough?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good news. Parenthesis open. I know a lot of executives who do not eat enough. And if you do not eat enough, you're not able to think positive, people, right? So, I mean, your brain needs carbs.
Yeah.
So you need food to be able to be productive. So for the sake of looking good, suffering from hunger and being a negative person at workplace is not a good idea. I know what I'm talking about. I was one of them. You probably were too. We worked like that for 10 years ago. We were taking non-stop flights and traveling around the world, and the only thing we ate was a lousy burger the whole day long, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Absolutely.
What does a perfect day look for you? I mean, a good start, you say.
For example, depending on what your preferences are. Some are in high carb, some are in high protein, right? It depends on the preferences, but definitely hangry people nobody likes, right? So you need to definitely have something eaten, and active people also they need calories, right? So if you're active, you need to eat. This definitely. And on top, if there's enough moderation, and I'm not talking about the piles of burgers that we then eat, right? So you don't need to worry about your weight. If you're active and healthy, then it's going to be definitely fine. So a good breakfast, starting with time for yourself, can be some silence time, can be some thinking time, some writing time, but time that brings you forward, right? And then also not opening your computer, getting drawn by emails that fly in, ping here, ping there. You're distracted in the first 5 seconds, and then you're already ruined. So thinking here, what did I want to do today? What are the top 5 things that I need to tick off? So that you also have at least the chance to tackle your day, right? And to have a successful feeling at the end. What I particularly like, and I also would advise this to this kind of people, right, is to go much more into including people into brainstorming sessions. Today I had a great session with my team where we were thinking about questioning and revolutionizing the KPIs that we're monitoring. What are really KPIs that need actions? What are monitoring points? Where you include people, and together you come to a path for solution, right? So I think this is very fulfilling, because you're not alone with your problems, but you have your team members that support you and so on. So this is really great. And such a day is already great day. When you get things done, when you have time for yourself, and then the best closing of the day is if you have good conversation, nice dinner with friends and family, and then you also socialize a bit, or read something where you have new input. I think this is just a great day.
Indeed. Can we just turn that vibrator off? Exactly. So, we can take it off, exactly. Thank you. When I heard it buzzing, but I didn't want to disturb your... Right. Super answer. Thank you, Laila. That gives us some idea how should a day start, really, with namely me time is a good idea, not second 10 taking a look at our mobiles. We did that, but it's boring. It's time to try out new things. Did we do that? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Right? We woke up and took a look at our Blackberries, our iPhones after Blackberry time, but it's out. It's old-fashioned to live that way. So if you do that, people, and if you tell people as well that you do that, people just worry about you, right? People feel sorry for you. So it's out to work 24/7 and to pretend at least that you're doing like. It's in to show people what kind of quality time you spend with the ones you care. And this could be also team members, right? Today in the morning I was at a cafe and grabbing some food for us, and I met two colleagues, and they patiently wait behind me. I apologize for buying so many things, it's gonna take a while and so on. And we had a chit chat, and they said, well, we are meeting over here. So how beautiful is that? They two colleagues are meeting and having a quality time, and they were really in a good mood. So what is your superpower, Laila?
Well, if we ask others, then they would say stakeholder management. I would call it differently. I would call it relationship building, actually, because I really care about people. Some people are assholes and I don't, probably, but normally I care a lot about people, and I love to see people around the world, connecting to people that I met overseas, and then when they're here we re-meet or something like that. I love to have good relationships with people.
Yeah, you're a people person, so pulling the strings together, etc. I had my first appraisal with Laila almost 10 years ago, longer than 10 years ago. She was about to take first time personnel responsibility back then, and her company asked me to, can she take personnel responsibility? After I got to know Laila, I said, oh yeah, she can take lots of personnel responsibility. And there we are today. How many projects are you managing roughly on average in a year? So you have been. So let's just, let's talk about your output as well, what you're capable of. Young talent, ladies and gentlemen.
A year, minimum 15, but I would say more 25 on average.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things that are going on parallelly.
Yeah. We have to talk about the multipolar world as a procurement person, a manager with you at some point as well. But let me go ahead with the fourth question. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would that be?
As we said, I'm more a people person and not a finance person. And what I would like to know more is about how you can clever invest into future topics, but this is something that I can enrich myself also. So I will try thinking about the question. I was thinking about, I should read more about this. So how can I financially invest that at a certain point you're more liberal to do whatever you want, right? So this is a bit, I think, a weakness that I could really close, and this would be the superpower that I would like to have, like all those Warren Buffetts and so on that are like, okay, this is what you need to do, and then you do that, and at the end money piles up by itself, something like that.
Well, you let me know when you're that far. Okay. Again, if a crystal ball could tell you the truth about what will happen in the future, what you want to know?
I would like to know today how we can support to save our planet, because I see really that we are doing lots of damage, and there are initiatives to help and so on, but if there's any technology that can reverse a bit what we did to this planet, I think this would be something that I would like to know already today. So wow. I think this is really a risk for our future. Indeed.
Deep thoughts you gave. Wow, that was a pretty impressive answer. I really have to admit, because I never thought about to that extent to know about future, right? So interesting. Think for food for thought, they say, right? So then the final question we ask in Brainy Heart to everyone is, what is more important for you? Brain or the heart or a brainy heart?
You know, in preparation of the question, I was asking myself what I would think is more valuable in a person. So if you have a colleague or a friend or a partner that is not so intelligent but very warm-hearted, would you prefer such a person, or would you prefer a person that is super clever and smart and sharp but very ignorant, for example, or closed or something like that? And although the combination is of course the best, in my eyes the heart is really important, because you know, some people are more clever than others. You cannot change it, you know. So I mean, you can change it a bit, but if a person is really warm-hearted, this is perhaps something that really brings value, especially in our fast-paced society where it's not all about numbers and so on, and not anymore about people. So I think this really makes the difference today. Yeah.
Oh wow! I mean, indeed, Laila says the right words. What makes people to stay in a company? Years ago, I was in my consulting years. Many companies came to me. Oh, what do we do to just get them motivated? Well, it doesn't help with free coffee and beanbags and I don't know, a company car. Why are people who got a company car and all the other futures that one can have, and they still leave companies, right? So you don't leave companies, you leave people. And that is why maybe it's a good idea to fix ourselves and our souls and our personalities rather than fixing our looks. You know, you can look brilliant, but you have a very complicated personality that is definitely worth to work on. Then do so, right? So good looks are out and good thoughts are in. In this sense, ladies and gentlemen, take care and keep your socks dry. Greetings from Berlin and from Brainy Heart. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.